Do you notice that lately, time has started to feel different? There are moments when you glance at the clock and it seems as though hours have passed, yet only a few minutes have gone by. Or the opposite, you dive into something that feels fleeting, but when you return, hours have mysteriously vanished. Sometimes the dreams you experience feel more vivid than daily life itself, where you can sense every touch, every breath, even the alternate choices of your own self. If you've been encountering these phenomena, then congratulations, your quantum jump key has been activated. This is not a coincidence, it doesn't come from luck or chance, but from a profound principle in quantum mechanics, the frequency of consciousness. Human awareness is not merely thought or memory, it is a vibrating field of energy. When this frequency reaches a certain threshold, a switch flips, granting access to multiple layers of parallel realities. The strange phenomena you re-experiencing are the results of resonance, when your field of consciousness begins to synchronize with the invisible probability fields of the universe. In quantum physics, this is known as the observer effect. Simply put, the very act of observation determines the state of a particle. When you focus on a possibility, you are not just witnessing it, you are bringing it into reality. The quantum jump key is not something you must seek outside yourself. It lies within you and it activates the moment you realize you are no longer a victim of circumstance, but the navigator, the chooser of the storyline your consciousness wishes to experience. Think back. Have you ever felt déjà vu, as if you've lived this exact moment somewhere before? Or met a stranger who somehow seemed to understand you more than logic should allow? These are not illusions, they are quantum leakage waves, moments when parallel realities overlap, and your awareness begins to touch multiple probability fields at once. You are not imagining it. You are truly stepping into a new frontier of perception. The activation of the quantum jump key also means your nervous system and the electromagnetic field around your body are being restructured. Neuroscientists have shown that during profound transformations, the brain forges entirely new neural pathways, consciousness circuits that did not exist since your birth. The vibrations in your chest, the tingling at the back of your neck, or the shivers along your spine are not random. They are signs that your nervous system is synchronizing to operate at a new frequency band. From the perspective of modern science, you can picture consciousness as a quantum antenna. Every thought, every emotion, every dream is an electromagnetic signal broadcast by your brain. Normally, humans only tune in to the 3D channel, the linear reality where the past creates causes and the future bears effects. But when the quantum jump key is activated, that antenna shifts to a broader spectrum where countless realities coexist. You are no longer bound by strict cause and effect chains. You have the right to select the frequency of the reality you wish to experience. The most important thing, you don't need to force a jump into another reality. Effort and resistance only generate electromagnetic friction. A quantum jump happens when you release, when you allow, when you listen to your intuition and let yourself resonate naturally with the matching frequency field. It is not a hunt, but a recognition that you already carry the key within you, simply waiting to be unlocked. Once you cross this threshold, you will begin to notice clear signs. Electronic devices reacting strangely around you, such as flickering lights or a phone battery draining quickly. Animals gazing at you with unfamiliar intensity, as if sensing your new energy field. Chains of coincidences unfolding with astonishing precision. Most strikingly, the gap between your intention and its manifestation grows ever shorter. All of this proves one thing: you are synchronizing with the operating system of the universe. Reality is no longer a fixed stage you must endure, but a multi-layered symphony where you can choose the melody to play. With the quantum jump key activated, you become the composer of that music, no longer a powerless spectator. This is not superstition. It is the convergence of quantum science and subjective experience, a frontier modern research is only beginning to touch. From the double-slit experiment to the many worlds theory, physics has already hinted that infinite parallel realities exist. And now, your consciousness has reached that doorway. The question is no longer, is a quantum jump possible? But rather, which version of reality will you choose to step into? So if you are reading these words and feel a resonance in your heart, a calling that logic cannot explain, know that this is the sign. Your key has turned. The door is ajar. The universe is waiting for you to step through and explore the infinite possibilities that have always existed within the quantum field. Your quantum jump key is no longer dormant, it is active, and the choice is now entirely in your hands. When people hear about quantum jumping, they often imagine themselves transported to another world, a completely foreign dimension. But the truth is far subtler. A quantum jump is not a journey of leaving one reality for another. It is the process of realizing the reality you are choosing to observe among infinite simultaneous probabilities. The universe you know is not linear, not a straight road with a beginning and an end. Instead, it is like an endless forest where billions of paths branch out in every direction. Each step you take doesn't create the path, but simply chooses one among the many. The others continue to exist in parallel, awaiting the moment your awareness returns to observe them. This is the core principle of multi-reality in quantum mechanics. Physicists call this the probability field, where all possibilities exist in a potential state, not yet collapsed into actuality. You might imagine it as a radio station, broadcasting hundreds of channels simultaneously. Every song is already playing, but your ears only hear the one your dial is tuned to. Your consciousness is that radio. A quantum jump doesn't create a new channel. It helps you turn the dial to select the frequency you want to hear. Modern science has already found indirect evidence for this hypothesis. The famous double-slit experiment in quantum mechanics reveals that particles can exist in multiple states until observed. Only when consciousness participates does the particle collapse into a specific form, which means you, the observer, are the deciding factor of the reality you experience, not the other way around. This leads to a groundbreaking realization. Every version of you already exists. There is a you living in another city, choosing another career, loving another person. There is a you thriving in great success, and a you enduring hardship. These scenarios are not fantasy, but real possibilities coexisting in the probability field. Quantum jumping is the awareness of this truth and the decision, which version of myself do I choose to observe right now? You may recall moments when you stood before a major choice, changing jobs, starting a relationship, or moving to a new city. The instant you made a decision, countless branches of reality simultaneously unfolded. In one reality, you chose to move forward, and in another, you chose to stay. Both exist in parallel, like films playing at the same time. Your consciousness simply decides which film to project onto the screen of life. Once you grasp this principle, you will realize that you are never bound to a single destiny. Reality is not a steel cage of fate, but an ocean of probabilities opening in all directions. The difference lies in the energy of observation. When you are immersed in fear, you are tuning into the frequency of a limited storyline. When you expand into trust, you align with the frequency of a more abundant scenario. And this shift can occur instantly, without needing years or decades. In other words, quantum jump is the art of mastering observation. It teaches you that the world does not come to impose itself upon you, but rather you are the one flipping the switch, deciding which scenery is projected before your eyes. This is not magic. It is the natural logic of quantum mechanics. Reality is not a fixed stream. It is countless flows coexisting at once. You are not a helpless spectator sitting on the shore, but the navigator who can redirect the current at any moment. And that recognition, that infinite versions of you are living in parallel within the probability field, is the first step to activating the limitless potential of quantum jump. When the quantum jump key within you begins to turn, the universe will send a series of signals. These signals act like encoded messages, telling you that you have stepped outside the ordinary rhythm of reality and are touching a new frequency layer. Many mistake these as mere coincidences or mental anomalies. But through the lens of quantum mechanics, they are activation signs, affirming that you are gradually attuning to the ability of quantum jump. 1. Glitch in the matrix, folds in reality. Have you ever experienced time skipping, fragmented memories, or déjà vu so intense it gave you chills? That is a glitch in the matrix, when the structure of reality seems to slip out of its familiar mold. In quantum physics, this can be explained as a shift in your observation point to another probability stream. In other words, your consciousness just switched channels, leaving a faint scratch in the film reel of the universe. 2. Time dilation. When clocks lose meaning. Another clear sign is the sensation that time no longer flows linearly. You may work for 5 minutes, yet feel like 5 hours, or spend hours that pass like seconds. This stretching and compressing reflects how your brain and consciousness begin to break free from conventional linear measurement. According to relativity, time is never fixed. It bends depending on speed and gravity. When your consciousness shifts frequency, you experience your own relative version, where time no longer ticks evenly like the clock on the wall. 3. Dreams become as vivid as reality. You start to dream not only with sharp detail, but also with touch, sound, even smell. In those dreams, you step through multiple possibilities of yourself, as if traveling among different versions of reality. Neuroscience explains this as heightened activation of the brain regions for memory and prediction. But from a quantum perspective, dreams are doors allowing you to test scenarios before choosing the version of reality to awaken into. 4. Intuition and precognition. Knowing before it happens. Your intuition sharpens to the point you can sense events seconds or even days before they occur. You might call a friend at the exact moment they are thinking of you, or avoid a situation only to learn later it carried real danger. This is the sign that your consciousness is scanning probability streams, like reading the cosmic script before it appears on the screen of the present. 5. Energy sensitivity. Feeling the invisible. You easily sense moods, emotions, even tension in the air upon entering a room. At times, you feel estranged from yourself, as though looking in a mirror and seeing a different version of you. This happens because the electromagnetic field and energy layers around your body are being fine-tuned to sync with a new reality. Science has proven that the human body emits measurable electromagnetic radiation, and when this frequency changes, you become a living antenna, receiving signals more clearly from the cosmic field. 6. Synchronicities, continuous patterns of meaning. Meaningful coincidences start appearing more frequently. You think of a song and hear it in a cafe. You meet the exact person you need at an impossible time. Or a book accidentally falls into your hands with the precise answer you were seeking. Carl Jung called this synchronicity, chains of meaningful coincidences beyond random chance. In quantum terms, it signals that your personal consciousness is syncing with the universal flow of information. All these signs are not illusions or accidents. They are the knocks of the universe reminding you that you are entering a subtle stage of consciousness evolution. By recognizing and accepting them, you not only understand that the quantum jump key has been activated, but also that you now stand before the doorway of a new capacity, the ability to choose the reality you wish to experience in the infinite sea of probabilities. Every quantum journey never begins with comfort. Instead, it often opens with storms of inner chaos. You may endure crises that seem hopeless, drowning loneliness, or long stretches of depression that make you doubt everything. Yet in truth, these experiences are not failures. They are the restructuring of consciousness, the foundational process that prepares your entire inner system for an upgrade. Imagine the journey of a caterpillar. Before it can soar into the sky, it must dissolve completely within its cocoon. Its entire old structure breaks down so that a new form can emerge. Humans are the same. Those dark periods when you feel yourself collapsing are when the subconscious and nervous system are secretly constructing a new reality. It is not destruction but liberation, tearing down the old to prepare for a new frequency. In the language of modern neuroscience, this is the process of neural rewiring. Repetitive thoughts, painful memories, or limiting beliefs deeply rooted in the brain begin to break apart. In times of crisis, the brain is forced to form new pathways to adapt. Synaptic connections, Those signal-transmitting junctions die in one place and regrow in another. It is like an electrical system being rewired to handle higher voltage. Simultaneously, the electromagnetic field of the body, which surrounds you like an invisible halo, is being recalibrated. To prepare for a quantum leap, the energy you carry must resonate with higher frequencies. This requires the heart, brain, and entire body to synchronize. Research from HeartMath has shown that human emotional states can instantly alter the patterns of electromagnetic waves emitted by the heart. In other words, emotional crises are not only inner turmoil, but also the way the universe reprograms your field to align with the coming shift. Those moments of extreme loneliness, when you feel cut off from the world, are actually the times when you are detaching from the old vibration network. This disconnection allows you to find a new rhythm, where your personal frequency can sync with the frequency of a higher reality. Loneliness, rather than abandonment, becomes the sacred space where new seeds germinate. Likewise, depression is not merely darkness, but a restart state. Just as a computer must shut down to update its software, your consciousness requires silence, where all energy contracts preparing for the next explosion. When you return, you are no longer the old version. You are an upgrade ready to operate in a new bandwidth. From a quantum perspective, crisis itself is the process of dissolving and reconfiguring probability waves. Old possibilities collapse, creating space for new ones to emerge. Every pain, every fall is in fact a doorway. Once you step through it, you discover a broader reality, a place where you do not merely survive, but also gain the ability to consciously create reality itself. Therefore, if you are in a phase filled with darkness, remember this: you have not failed. You are only undergoing the metamorphosis of a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. Your neural networks are being rewired, your electromagnetic field is being upgraded, and your consciousness is being prepared for the quantum leap, a leap that moves you from limitation to infinity. When people hear the term quantum jump, many often imagine it as traveling from one reality to another, like stepping through an interdimensional portal. But in truth, a quantum jump does not create a new reality. It simply means aligning and synchronizing with the frequency of the version of reality you desire to experience. In quantum mechanics, everything exists as probability waves. You yourself are not just one singular version, but countless versions, each living simultaneously in a different frequency of reality. When you shift your perspective, alter your emotions, transform your beliefs, and expand your state of consciousness, you are essentially turning the dial within yourself, tuning into another channel of reality. Imagine you are listening to a radio. All channels already exist in the space around you, but in order to hear music from 92.3 MHz, you must adjust your radio to that exact frequency. Quantum jump works precisely on this principle. The reality you want does not come from outside. It has always been there waiting for you to tune in and catch the signal. The core principle of this phenomenon lies in the relationship between observation and creation. Quantum physics has demonstrated that the observer can never be separated from the observed phenomenon. The very act of observation collapses matter from a wave into a particle, from the invisible into the visible. In other words, observation is creation. When you focus your consciousness on a possibility, you are pulling it out of the infinite field of potential and crystallizing it into actuality before your eyes. This leads to a breakthrough realization. You do not attract reality. Instead, you become the frequency that resonates with it. If you desire a reality where you live happily, abundantly and freely, you cannot remain at the frequency of lack and simply hope to attract abundance. Instead, you must shift yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, and your energy, to merge with the frequency where that reality vibrates. At that point, you and that reality are one, with no distance left to bridge. The most remarkable aspect of quantum jump is that change happens instantly. There is no need for a long, drawn-out process, no need for time to pass. When your consciousness frequency matches the desired reality, the leap occurs immediately. You may sense it as an unexpected phase shift, a moment when everything suddenly clicks into perfect synchronicity, as though the world around you has subtly changed color and texture, in ways that linear logic cannot explain. This is why many people report experiencing strange moments, déjà vu, repeated synchronicities, or sudden dramatic changes in perception and lifestyle. In those moments, they have in fact executed a quantum jump, perhaps without even realizing it. From the perspective of neuroscience, this can be understood as the remapping of neural networks. When you shift your consciousness, new synaptic pathways are activated, and your brain begins functioning as though you are already being the version of yourself in the new reality. The brain does not distinguish between imagination and reality. It simply reacts to the frequency you concentrate on. And when the brain begins to operate as though you live in another reality, the external universe immediately reflects that shift. Thus, quantum jump is not mystical magic, but a natural operating principle of the universe. It reveals that reality is not fixed, but exists as an infinite field of possibilities. And you, as the observer, hold the key to decide where you wish to stand within that endless labyrinth. In summary, quantum jump works by changing the frequency of your consciousness to merge with the desired reality. Observation is creation, and change does not require waiting. It unfolds the moment you become the version that resonates with the world you wish to live in. The true wonder begins not in the moment of the leap itself, but in the experiences that follow. Once your consciousness is synchronized with a new reality, the world around you begins to transform in subtle yet unmistakable ways. And if you are sensitive enough, you will notice the universe responding directly to your inner shift. One of the first signs is that both matter and living beings seem to hear and respond to you. Electrons, the fundamental building blocks of matter, vibrate in resonance with the energy of your consciousness. They may trigger microscopic phenomena that make you feel as though events are unfolding specifically to support you. Even animals around you, from pets to wild creatures, tend to grow more attuned, friendlier, and more responsive to your presence. The new energy you radiate becomes an invisible language, prompting the biological world around you to resonate and respond in kind. Next, you will notice the gap between intention and manifestation shrinking dramatically. Previously, you may have required long periods of effort, patience, or persistence to achieve your goals. But after a quantum leap, intention becomes like a laser, focused, precise, and immensely powerful. The new reality you have aligned with already contains the outcomes you seek, and with even a spark of intent, everything begins to arrange, connect, and reveal itself faster than ever before. Another profound experience is the ability to expand or contract your perception of time. You may find moments where a few minutes stretch into what feels like hours, giving you enough space to process a vast amount of thought or experience. Conversely, there may be times when hours slip by in the blink of an eye. This is not mere illusion, but rather the effect of flexible time perception once your consciousness has transcended linear constraints. Neuroscientific studies have shown that the human brain can alter its processing rhythms, thereby generating the experience of time dilation or compression. In the post-quantum jump state, this flexibility is pushed to its extreme, allowing you to bend time according to your experiential needs. Most notably, dreams become your quantum laboratory. Instead of being random images or the subconscious doing its nightly housekeeping, post-jump dreams grow vivid, structured, and deeply instructive. You may find yourself experimenting with different possibilities, meeting parallel versions of yourself, or even interacting with symbolic archetypes that guide you through the path you are walking. Many who have gone through this state report that their dreams feel like a course, a training ground where they can try and fail, practice and expand abilities they had not dared to apply in waking reality. At a deeper level, you may begin to notice that everything in life, from the way trees sway, the refraction of light, to the synchronicity of numbers you encounter, turns into signals reflecting your inner transformation. The universe becomes a living mirror, constantly sending you messages that you are on the right track. Even events once deemed random begin to carry meaning, weaving into a logical flow that surpasses ordinary intelligence. Ultimately, the post-quantum jump experience reveals a profound truth. You are not merely changing how you perceive the world, You are truly stepping into a timeline where everything is arranged to resonate with your new frequency. And it is in this space that you discover the only true limitation does not belong to the universe, but to the frequency of consciousness you choose to embody. When we speak about quantum jumping, we often focus on the personal journey, the way each individual shifts, restructures consciousness and enters a new reality. Yet the true depth of this phenomenon extends beyond the individual. Every successful quantum jump carries a collective significance, paving the way for humanity's evolution. In quantum mechanics, there is a concept known as the information field, a space where all possibilities, all versions of reality, all events exist as probabilities. When an individual shifts their frequency and chooses a higher reality, they not only generate a personal experience, but also imprint that shift into this field. It is like carving a path through a dense forest. The first step may be difficult, but afterward others can follow more easily. A single person who makes a quantum jump becomes a trailblazer, creating a frequency template for the collective to resonate with and step into. Imagine human consciousness as an ocean, with each person as a drop of water. When one drop shifts its vibration, it creates ripples that spread outward. A person who successfully performs a quantum jump does not only elevate their own frequency, but also influences the collective energy field, awakening potential in others. This is the resonance effect. Once enough individuals align to a higher frequency, the entire collective naturally begins to shift. This has been demonstrated in studies on collective consciousness and global coherence. Scientists have observed that when millions of people focus on the same event, whether it be a natural disaster, a festival, or a major world occurrence, Earth's electromagnetic readings register anomalies. This proves that individual consciousness is never separate from the collective field. Thus, when you quantum jump, you're not just transforming yourself, you're broadcasting a signal, an energetic template, giving humanity one more choice from the infinite spectrum of possibilities. From an evolutionary perspective, this represents humanity's next great leap, the evolution of consciousness. For thousands of years we have evolved physically, technologically, and intellectually. But the greatest leap forward will not come from technology, it will emerge from the expansion of collective consciousness. As more individuals perform quantum jumps, humanity will gradually transcend the limitations of fear, scarcity, and separation, moving instead into a civilization built upon resonance, cooperation, and creativity. The collective significance of quantum jumping is therefore profound. It is not just a personal journey, but an invitation to all of humanity. Each time you shift your frequency, you weave another strand of light into the shared information field, making it easier for others to connect and awaken. From this resonance, we are co-authoring a new chapter in the story of human evolution, a chapter where consciousness is no longer confined to its old boundaries, but blossoms into alignment with the infinite potential of the cosmos. Throughout your exploration of quantum jumping, you may have realized one central truth. Shifting reality is not a struggle, not an effort of force, but a state of allowing. From the lens of quantum mechanics, reality already exists as countless parallel probabilities. You do not need to create anything new, for every scenario already exists within the probability field. What you truly need is to allow yourself to harmonize with the frequency of the reality you desire. The key to quantum jumping has always been within you, embedded in the very structure of your consciousness. It is not an external tool, nor a secret technique reserved for the few. It is an innate human capacity, the ability to choose, to observe, to shape experience through the focus of awareness. But the larger question remains: will you use this key or let it pass by unnoticed? Modern neuroscience has shown that the human brain functions like a programming machine, continuously reconstructing reality through beliefs, memories, and habits. If you remain within old patterns, you will never escape the familiar loop. But the moment you dare to declare a new intention, you begin to rewire your neural pathways, opening a new corridor within the labyrinth of probability. Intention itself is the quantum command, the initiating wave that activates resonance in the information field. This does not mean you must force or control every detail. On the contrary, Quantum jumping requires surrender, a deep trust that the universe always mirrors your frequency. Once you have declared your intention, let it dissolve into the field and allow resonance to unfold. The gap between intention and manifestation will shorten, and you will witness changes arise naturally, as effortlessly as tuning a radio to a different station. At this point, you need a symbolic act, not to prove anything to the world, but to mark the shift within yourself. Write it down, speak it aloud, or simply make a declaration. A single sentence, a small commitment, is enough to activate resonance. In the quantum field, every conscious declaration is a wave that propagates, connecting you with others on the same frequency and opening possibilities you had never imagined. And so the final message of quantum jumping is this: allow, choose, and declare. Your future does not lie in waiting. It lies in the moment you dare to affirm, "I am ready to step into my new reality." From that moment, the key in your hand ceases to be a metaphor and becomes the doorway to evolution, for you and for humanity as a whole.